Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Motorsports. We are now reviewing the Belgian Grand Prix. You're joined by Reese and myself, Mark, and welcome to the channel. This is our dedicated Formula 1 channel and Motorsports channel. So be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel as well, and we'll bring you through all the information with regards to Formula 1 throughout the season, and all dedicated and interesting information will find itself here as well. And Reese, what a Grand Prix we had here in Spa. Max Verstappen started in 6th, finished in 1st, but he did have his fastest lap taken away from him by Hamilton in the very last lap there. But also, I mean, some disaster classes for some teams and some master classes for others.
Yes, certainly the strategy was a bit of a talking point here today. Of course, let's just start with those drivers that retired from this race. Unfortunately, only two drivers, well, fortunately only two drivers, but unfortunately that they had to retire at all. We had Oscar Piastri and Carlos Sainz coming together in the first corner, not by Oscar Piastri's fault at all. Carlos Sainz had a major lockup and then just squeezed him into the wall. And that was unfortunately Oscar Piastri's race. He had to retire halfway through the lap. He wasn't even able to get back into the pits. So that was his lap and race over. And then Carlos Sainz carried on until, I think, midway through the race where he retired, and then carrying on from there. But as you said, though, Mark, strategies and tires were a big talking point of the session where, I mean, teams went for multiple different strategies and times to go on these different tires. And it worked for some and didn't work for others, as you said.
Yeah, indeed. And I think the biggest thing as well that we saw was the fact that the hard tyre was not a tyre today. And that's what McLaren made a huge mistake with. Norris was losing so much pace early on. We didn't quite know what was happening there. Just a couple of small setting changes required changing. And he went straight into the pits very early on for hard tyres, came out and just kept dropping places, went so far down. Then eventually decided to come back in for the softs, one of the first cars to go back out in the softs. And everybody very quickly realized the soft tyre was the one. And slowly but surely everybody else made their way into the pits to get onto those soft tires there. So just looking at the pit stops there for Norris, he started on the mediums, moved to the hards, and very quickly moved to the softs, which he finished with 27 laps on the softs, the most out of anybody there. So he was the first one to make that change. Most of the other grid moved onto the mediums in the midfield and then moved on to softs right at the end as a result of seeing that. So Hamilton had 4 pit stops, so did Albon, and so did Sargent. Hamilton with his 4 pit stops though still finished in 4th, and with the fastest lap, his last pit stop there to get the fastest lap right at the end there. So I mean, so for Mercedes, let's go to them first. Great day for them, 4th and 6th with the fastest lap. Is that a good day?
Well, I don't think that's necessarily too bad for them. I mean, Hamilton lost a single place. He should have really kept on to that position. He could have finished 3rd today, but Leclerc, of course, had the fastest car, and Verstappen was coming from the midfield. Yeah, so Hamilton, not too bad for him down in 4th. George Russell having a better day, though, being up and where did he finish?
George Russell finished in 6th, that's what I said, yeah.
Yeah, making up 2 positions there for himself. So not too bad from him at all. I think it's a good point all today. And yeah, I don't think they'll be too upset with that.
No, so decent day for Mercedes, so they should be absolutely fine with the results there. Charles Leclerc finished in 3rd. A podium for Ferrari. We haven't had that in ages. How good is that?
Yes, it's certainly, I'm very excited to have Ferrari back on the podium here today. As you say, it's been a couple of races since we've had them on the podium, but glad to have them back here now. Yeah, just waiting for the podium ceremony to happen. But while we do wait for that to happen, let's talk about Lando Norris.
Yeah, Lando, I'll say, we did touch on Lando Norris. They just made a poor strategy call going onto the hard tyre. When he moved into the soft, he managed to work his way through the field and finished up in 7th. He did start in 7th, so if they hadn't made that mistake with the hard tyre compound, I think he probably could have finished maybe above Russell, maybe could have challenged Alonso for 5th, but I don't think he was going to finish that high up. McLaren didn't look as quick as they have today.
I was just wanting to note more the fact, as you say in your last note, that they weren't looking as quick as they were yesterday. I think it was more, it's possible that he has a bit of debris in his car because he was very close to the back of Oscar Piastri and that fight with Carlos Sainz when his front wing was broken. I think there may be a bit of damage under that car or even some debris. So that is, in my opinion at least, why they didn't have any good laps out there today.
Yeah, and Alex Albon was motoring through the grid, made up 8 places in 8 laps. Great racing from him, but then terrible strategy calls ruined his race. He could have finished in the points, and he could have just continued his great form this season, but a terrible strategy call for him to just remain on those medium tyres for a long stint, and he just made all those places he made up, he lost them just as quickly, and then they eventually reacted and put him on the softs, and then he managed to make up a few places, but he dropped all the way down to last when he did go into the pits for those soft tires because of how long he stayed out in those mediums. Then came in and for those soft tires and managed to make up 4 places again and finish in 14th, but he could have finished in the points, Reese.
Yes, he really could have finished in the points today. He had some great pace on those soft tires. So if they brought him in a lot earlier, as you say, he could have really done so well. I'm so disappointed because he's had a great slew of races throughout the second half of this first leg of the season. It's disappointing that he hasn't had the greatest end to the first half of the season, but I'm sure he'll come back running in Zandvoort. I think he quite enjoys that track as well.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see some good running from Alex Albon there. Joe also had a late lunge there, making a few places up as well. So it's great to see him do some overtakes there. Ocon finished in 8th, ahead of Lance Stroll. Talking Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso, who finished in 5th. Decent day for Aston Martin, a little bit of a fight back for points.
Yes, I mean, Aston Martin, they certainly made up some good points today. Fernando Alonso started in 9th. He finished up in 5th. So a good points haul for him. His teammate started in 10th, made his way up into 9th. So not too bad from himself either. He stayed out quite late on a set of mediums, waiting for the rain to come, and then went out on a set of softs when the rain did start falling a little bit because they expected it to be light enough to stay on the set of slicks. And they were correct. And yeah, we're just able to stay up in 9th. Not too bad for them today. Good set of points for them. Maybe a bit more damage limitation, of course, because they were performing really well in the first half of the season. Maybe they may just be focusing on the summer break, going to be doing some work, and should come back hopefully with some good upgrade packages. Great looking trophy here in Belgium. At least there's no Lando Norris to break it this weekend.
Indeed. And just lastly, just also touch on Yuki Tsunoda, who had a great race there. He was also one of our drivers up for driver of the day. He finished in 10th position. He made up quite a few places, starting further down. His teammate Daniel Ricciardo only finished in 16th, having started in 19th position. But Tsunoda almost finished higher as well. He was really rocketing along with Alex Albon at the beginning of the race.
Yes, Tsunoda was doing really well. I was hoping we'd get a bit more of that battle between Albon and Tsunoda, but Tsunoda's team just making the better strategic calls today. Quite impressed by him. He managed to hold on to 10th position in a car that doesn't necessarily deserve to be there. So not too bad from himself today.
No, not at all. And especially when he's coming under threat from a new driver and his new partner, Daniel Ricciardo, who outperformed him last weekend. So good for Tsunoda to try and outperform his new teammate there today. So that does wrap up our Spa Grand Prix weekend here. And we're about to head on into a 3-week break before we head off to Zandvoort. So it's going to be a long time away from Formula One. A good time for us to get back, stretch a little bit, and just also have a look at silly season that's coming up as well. So be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, because a lot more videos are going to be coming your way on this channel going forward as well. And we're very much looking forward to all the changes that all the teams could do to challenge Red Bull more in Zandvoort. Reese, any final thoughts on today's Grand Prix?
Not too much at the wrap of this, as we see the champagne currently flowing between the drivers on the podium. I mean, it's been a great couple of races before the end of this first half of the break of the season. Yeah, going to be exciting. Still a lot to come, though, after, this little summer break that we do have. Lots of content that is going to be brought to you, especially on this channel. So please do be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you get notified when we go live or upload any more videos with news for this summer break. Do be sure to keep an eye on that, because I have a feeling we may see some driver moves as it is currently going into silly season. But yeah, thank you for a great stream today for sure. It's been quite exciting.
Yeah, indeed. Guys, thank you so much for watching Forever Motorsports on its own channel. You've been joined by me, myself, Mark, and Reese, of course, who's alongside me. We'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the summer break. Of course, we'll catch you again in our live streams and our bigger live streams for the races in Zandvoort. But otherwise, check out all of our podcasts every Monday on the Forever Sports channel and watch for some videos.